They say he who calls for equity must come in clean hands. We have an electoral commission, a new administration that comes to power, bastardize a system that brought them to power, says it's not credible for the very first time. Most of the time we hear when a party that loses election, is the one that goes on that mantra. It's not credible. It's not credible. And we've moved on, advanced, and better to what we have today. What we see today is a government that has an agenda. The agenda was just to stay in power through their surrogates, the majority leader, Jean Mensah, persons like Kennedy Japan, even went ahead of the EC saying that if we change the system, the NDC would never win any election in Ghana. Then you had the referee, also coming out, Deputy EC saying that the NDC is a threat to Ghana's democracy. Now, when you put all these comments that they've made, and the argument, and here sometimes, I get a lot disappointed in my own party for allowing, Madam Jean Mensah to spew a lot of lies in terms of technology and walk the way freely to brainwash and, had that credence for even 2% of Ghanaians to believe that we needed a new voters register because the other one was not credible. Every argument that they made showed that the EC were totally ignorant and they were just going according to the dictate of what the Flagstaff House was giving them. And that is the main reason why, if you look at what happened with Baume's presentation, Voltarians, aliens, all up in the voters register, it has to be clean. They come to power, they change the system. First, let's go and attack Volta region, and then they send their troops, everyone straight to Volta region. We stated that this is all about voter suppression. It is not about the fact that the register is not credible. They know that the register is credible, but they had their intent. Their intention is to suppress the votes from the opponent's stronghold and maximize theirs just to win an election. Finito. That's the bottom line. Every argument they've made over the period has never made sense. It shall never make sense in the world of tech and common sense. That's the bottom line. So now this is what we face. I'll tell you something, Senna. With this number, with this particular number, unfortunately, we don't have time for us to do certain aspects of the maths. Like they keep saying that, NDC lost by, NPP won with a margin of 1 million votes. You and I know it is not true. When you go into the result, you realize that the NDC depreciated and that the NPP also gained a little. And then, by the gap compared to the past is what is almost to that level. But the NPP didn't even gain much in 2016. They also lost in certain places. They reduced in other areas. So it creates that uncertainty where the party NPP is like, you know what, we cannot go into the election with this particular database because we will not be able to manipulate it. People already have the voters register. We need to take it from them and decide who should be on it and who should not be on it. Let's increase our side and decrease theirs. And that is what they attempted to do. I'm using the word attempted to do because the result that has come out shows that they have failed. The strategy that they have has failed. I will tell you, majority of the names on the voters register are in there to pay back to the political party called the NPP. That is the bottom line. Because if that hadn't been the case, this number wouldn't have even gotten to, 60% of what has been provided by the EC. What it basically means is that people are so anxious, people are so desperate, people still want to affirm and make a particular statement to the government of the day that we do not support your policies, your programs, your actions and inactions. So they came out amidst and against the threat of COVID-19, and they have registered to this level. Then you ask yourself, what could have been the motivation? Is it because they love the president and the NPP so much because they have done a yeoman's job, they've delivered on their promises? Or it is because they have something to tell the certain government? That is what it's all about. So for me, if you look at it and look at the dichotomy, and then spread the numbers around, you'd realize that they have not made any gains. But they live in a certain world. They live in a certain world where it's all theory. It's all theory, not born out of practicals. You may think that, yes, you've attacked Volta region, the stronghold of the NPP, of the NDC, sorry. Believe you me, Senna, go into the data very well. Take Ashanti region from, let's say, the NPP, and maybe take Volta region from the NDC. When you conduct any election, the NDC will beat the NPP anytime, any day. Every time the NDC wins an election, they take 85 to 90% of the country. Look, 2008, for example, check 2012. You will beat them every step of the way. So if you attack voter regime, don't think that that would be the end. They are everywhere. And you can't stop it from everywhere. And that is the reason why they had to move to other parts of the country just to see if they could block those holes so that the NDC will not be able to have their members in there. But we are already in there. We are already in there. My fear right now is what is likely to happen in December 7th. Because now they know that the numbers are still not going in their favor. They know the numbers are still not going in their favor. So now it will move from just the military suppressing, using all manner of tactics just to intimidate people from not coming to register, to the level where there will be an Ayawasu Part 2. That is what we should be expecting from the NPP. And that is where I have my fear. With regards to, Jean Mensah and the deputy, Senator, I'll tell you, it would take Jesus Christ for them to call the election for the NDC. It would take Jesus Christ for them to call the election for the NDC. What it basically means is that the NDC would have to go ahead of the EC. If the NDC doesn't go ahead of the EC with its own infrastructure, with its own strategy, with its own calculations, to get things ahead and call for it on their own, the EC will hold on. It will take 24 hours, 48 hours. They will do everything possible just to manipulate the numbers and make sure that it goes in the favor of the NPP. Mind you, they attempted this in 2008 to the point that they wanted to use the court. They wanted to use the court. And today, I think yesterday, Akufo-Addo has sworn in extra 6 or 8 judges to the High Court. That is the plan. That is the grand scheme. They want to push this system to the courtroom because they know that they've lost the elections already. So that is where they want to go at the final hour. But, Senator, I don't think that the NDC is ready to go to court. No. NDC is not ready to go to court. NDC is ready to meet the NPP boot for boot on the ground on December 7th. Let the Ghanaian people go and register and vote, and let the vote be counted. Let the pink sheet be signed, and let the result come out from all the strongholds as it's supposed to be. Finito, and we shall have peace.